Hey guys, Frosty Felon here, and I hope you're all having a good day. Today I'm going to be going through the Apex Legends Legacy Update patch notes. These came out on Thursday, and I thought I would run through them quickly. I'm going to try not to make this too long, but I'm just going to be going through the patch notes and giving my opinion and thoughts on the changes. And I might also try and include some little gameplay clips from various YouTube videos that I've seen. Showing the new things. So for example, if I talk about the Loba buff, I might try and put some gameplay in of the new buff, if that makes sense, just so we can kind of get a visual representation of what the changes look like. But I don't want to spend too long on this video. We are only a couple of days away from Legacy. I absolutely cannot wait. I'm really excited, and it feels like the days are going by very slowly, but we are almost there now, guys. So yeah, let's take a look and have a little conversation about the patch notes. So there's a dev stream for this. I would recommend checking that out. They just talk about the changes and why they made them. So obviously the main thing is arenas. The games are going underground with the introduction of a new permanent mode, arenas. Fully reassembled and unimpressed with the glitz and glamour of the Apex games, former Apex Predator Ash is taking the competition back to its roots, a purer form of combat. The rules are simple: 3 versus 3. Eliminate your enemies to win the round. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You win or you die. Arenas features a new set of custom maps tailor-made for close quarters combat, with more to come in the future. So I did speak about the maps in my last video, but we'll go through them today. Squads start each round in a spawn room where they can get weapons, gear and abilities and adjust their loadout as their strategy changes. The first team to win 3 rounds with at least a 2-point lead will be crowned the victor, unless they battle to a 4-4 tie. Then they'll have the honour of participating in Ash's favourite part of the game, sudden death. For more on arenas, check out the blog for a full deep dive into the new mode. So there is a full blog post on arenas if you want a bit more info on it, but I did cover that in my last video where I went over everything we know about the update. So the maps is one of the custom ones. Party Crasher looks pretty nice. Party Crasher is one of the 2 exciting custom arenas where you'll be able to show off your skills. This arena takes place in a ritzy downtown plaza where players can choose to engage on the crashed Mirage Voyage or the opulent 2-story buildings that make up the downtown. Stay vigilant as this map hosts a variety of engagement distances, both close quarters and long distance. The next custom map is Phase Runner. Phase Runner is the second of our custom arenas and our largest. You'll fight in a hidden experimental zone at the peak of a mountain where a prototype Phase Runner is ready for use. This map gives you a lot of space to maneuver, so be sure to be on the lookout for those who prefer to be patient and take you out from afar. Sound tactics and clear communication of what you'll need to come out on top as you fight through the construction site or near the Phase Runner exit. And we also have 3 BR inspired maps in a bi-weekly rotation, which are Artillery from King's Canyon, Thermal Station from World's Edge, as well as Golden Gardens from Olympus. So arenas looks really exciting. I cannot wait to get my hands on it and give you guys my thoughts. I do quite enjoy Valorant. I don't play it loads, but I have dabbled in it. And I do enjoy that kind of system. There's not going to be no more third party and no more RNG. It's going to be pure skill and combat, and that's really exciting, and it should be a breath of fresh air for Apex. Next up is Valkyrie. I'm super excited to try Valkyrie. Any mobility based legends are right up my alley. So Kairi Imahara, the daughter of Apex Predator Viper, salvaged the remains of her father's North Star Titan years after his death. With Rampart's help, she fashioned it into a sleek new jetpack that honours her family's legacy. Now she's entered the games under the name Valkyrie. So her passive is VTOL Jets. Use your jetpack to reposition or reach high places. You have limited fuel and cannot use weapons while flying. So from what some people were saying, I remember Moki Sniper and a couple of others have said that she's going to have a really high skill gap. So you can't just start hovering around and expect to do good with Valkyrie, because you will just get beamed out of the sky. But there's going to be some kind of like movement tech and little kind of things to master with her jetpacks that do give her a lot of potential. And I'm really excited to just keep trying to master her. So that's a good thing in my opinion. We don't want someone just to be able to pick her up and she be instantly overpowered. We do not want another Horizon. And from the sound of it and how they are balancing her, she will not be that, which is a good thing in my opinion, but she's also definitely not going to be a fuse either. She's going to have her place in the meta. Her tactical is Missile Swarm. Fire a swarm of mini rockets which damage and disorient the enemy. This is seems to be pretty useful, kind of like a zoning tool. I believe it does 25 damage plus 3 damage per additional rocket hit. and it also has kind of a very small stun effect. So that's going to be fun to use. Damaging abilities are always quite fun, I find. Her ultimate then, which I'm super excited to check out, is her Skyward Dive. Take to the skies to reposition a long distance across the map, and your squad mates can join in. So I'm sure you guys have all seen gameplay on this now. She will kind of hover above the ground, your teammates can latch on, you then press a button to burn, which sends you up in the sky, and then once you reach the peak of your height, you will redeploy like you've used a jump tower. This is going to be amazing for making those rotations across the maps. I don't know how useful this is going to be in arenas. I feel like Valkyrie is definitely going to be more BR oriented, but you can always play her in arenas. Next up we have the bocek bow, and they do say it's pronounced bocek. I've seen some people debating that, but it is bocek. The new bocek compound bow is a precision marksman weapon that rewards a skilled and confident hand. Holding down fire will draw the bow over a short time, increasing the power of the shot, with maximum power giving optimal damage and projectile speed. Repeatedly firing the bocek right as it reaches max power provides the best sustained damage. The bocek uses a new ammo type, arrows, which are unique to this weapon. Arrows are more rare on the battlefield, but fired arrows will stick into surfaces and remain in the world for players to pick up, back up and use. So I did talk about that in my last video as well. The 1x HCOG classic, 1x hollow, 2x HCOG, 1 to 2 variable and 3x HCOG optic can all be equipped. The bocek can also be further modified with the 2 new hop-ups entering the game, Shattercaps and Deadeye's Tempo. It can even equip both hop-ups simultaneously, so that's a neat feature, you can use both of them at the same time. The map update for Olympus then, the Lost Fleet update. A fleet of mysterious ships have made their way to Olympus and brought with them an otherworldly parasitic plant that has begun to take root along the surface. The lead ship, the Icarus, has docked with the city and changed the landscape for good. Fight through the claustrophobic halls of the ghost ship, search corpses for a mysterious keycard, and walk away as the last squad standing. And there is a map update blog just talking about this update if you want to check that out. To allow everyone to see the latest map update, Olympus will be the only map in rotation for the first week of the new season. So normally when they do map updates, that's the only map you can play for the first 2 weeks, so it's going to be only 1 week this time, which I guess is good because people really want to get back to World's Edge. But I'm really excited to check this out. It's a small update, but the whole like parasitic plant thing I am really into. It's pretty cool. And apparently it is going to try and take control of Olympus across the season, so it's going to develop, and that's going to link in with the comics and the lore we get. So yeah, it's really linking together, and I'm excited to see how the Legends deal with this. We also have a starter kit and loot changes. Players will now start a match with a starter kit consisting of a level 1 Evo shield, helmet and knockdown shield, plus 2 shield cells and syringes each. We've removed level 1 helmets and knockdown shields from the loot pool. Spawn chances for level 1 Evo shields in the loot pool have been significantly reduced. In the dev stream, one of the devs mentioned it's been reduced by about 40%, so those white shields should be a lot rarer now. Along with the lowered or removed spawn chances for these items, we've rebalanced the loot pool such that higher level versions of these items will appear nearly the same as they do now, but other item types will appear more often: weapons, ordnance, health, ammo, etc. So yeah, this is what you'll start with each match. I like this change. This is kind of like the locked and loaded takeover we get, except with the fact that we don't start with weapons. But this should help to not make the loot pool too saturated, because obviously every season they add new stuff to the loot pool and it was getting very saturated, so this should help with that. And it means that you're not going to die instantly if you get like a Mozam and someone else gets like an R9. It should help to fight back a little bit. Then they have some dev notes on it, just kind of saying this will be an ongoing project and they want to try and remove more stuff in the future if they can. We have ground emotes, which is a small feature, but I'm so happy about this. Anything that allows the legends to show off their personality more, I love, because that's a big part of the game for me. Introducing emotes. Every legend will have 1 emote unlocked at launch, and additional emotes can be obtained through Apex packs or by crafting them. So everyone starts with an emote, and then every legend will have an epic and a legendary emote. Equip your emotes to the emote wheel and flex away. It's great fun to show off to your squad mates in the starting room of arenas, and of course you have to use them on the winner's podium. Now, since emotes kick your camera back to a third person view, we know some folks are already thinking about corner peeking. Competitive integrity is still paramount, so enemies that your character couldn't see in first person view will not be shown while you're in third person. This video shows the anti-peek feature working on the purple dummy behind the rock. Without it, Pathfinder would be able to use the third person camera to gain knowledge that he shouldn't have. All emotes have anti-peek enabled and there is no way to disable it. So it's great they have thought about this. I know there's a problem with this in Destiny 2, and they're only starting to address it now, like years and years too late. So the fact that we're getting this from the start in Apex is really, really good. Battle Pass, you can see the Wraith and Rampart skins there. Unlock the Premium Legacy Battle Pass and level it up to unlock new skins like Rampart's Crafty Kitsune at Premium level 25 and Wraith's Demon Whisper at Premium level 50. I also believe there's a Spitfire at level 1 and a Devotion for tier 100 and 110. And there'd probably be some emotes and things, maybe, if not in this one, in future seasons. Legend updates, now this is exciting. Low profile characters. Low profile no longer exists. This trait has been removed from Wraith, Lifeline and Watson. So this is a buff to Wraith, Lifeline and Watson, just no more low profile. So that means that they will not take that extra 5% damage and limb shots will not count as full body shots. So basically, if you play one of these legends, you're going to take less damage, which is a good thing because it was not necessary in my opinion. Obviously now they've sorted out Wraith and Lifeline. Speaking of which, Lifeline, Combat Revive no longer deploys a shield, can now revive 2 players at the same time, can now cancel active revives in progress to allow your teammates to defend themselves with their knockdown shields. I know this is controversial, the Lifeline changes. The shield was annoying. Personally, I probably would have put a timer on it or gave it health. But the fact we can do 2 auto revives at the same time means Lifeline is going to be able to carry on fighting and both her teammates can get up, which is really, really good. So as long as you apply pressure while your teammates are getting up, don't just leave them to their own devices because they are probably going to die. If they need to defend themselves, you can cancel the res as the Lifeline and they can pop their knockdown shield up. So actually I'm someone that plays Lifeline a little bit, and I'm really excited to check out these changes, and hopefully our girl is still pretty strong. Doc Heal Drone, heal rate increased from 5 HP per second to 8 HP per second, so quite a nice buff there to the healing speed. Deployment time before healing begins is reduced by roughly 33%. So before you would have had to put the drone down and then it takes a little bit before that they starts healing you. That time has been reduced by 33%. And the care package, cooldown reduced from 6 minutes to 5 minutes. Personally, I still think 5 minutes is pretty lengthy, but it's better than 6. And there is a nice buff to it as well. Now guarantees an upgrade if possible in 3 categories. Body shield, other equipment, which is helmets, backpacks and knockdown shields, and weapon attachment, based on your team's current gear when the package arrives. So we're guaranteed to get upgrades on our loadout, which is obviously really, really good. Personally, I think they should just scrap the care package idea, because Loba is the kind of looting support legend. Lifeline is supposed to be a medic, so I would prefer like a healing based ultimate. Maybe they might consider that in the future, but that's what I would do. But at least her care package is actually going to be like useful now. Like before, Lifeline players wouldn't even use her ultimate. So this is a nice change. We'll have to see how she plays out. Octane Stim, reduced cooldown between stims from 4 seconds to 1 second, increased health cost from 12 HP to 20 HP, and increased bullet spread while in the air and shooting from the low launchpad trajectory. So you can use his stim more often now, but as it says, it's going to take more health. I suppose this is just to make Octane players have to think more about when they stim instead of just spamming it, which I don't play Octane too often, so I can't really talk much about how I feel about this. I know some Octane players are unhappy with it, but I still think Octane, he is the movement legend. He's going to be fine. Just think about if it's the right time to stim and if you want to sacrifice your health for speed. Loba. Now, Loba is my top main. She's my favourite legend by far in the game. Loba mains, it is our time to rise in Legacy. Burglar's best friend can now run and slide at full speed while aiming the bracelet and while the bracelet is in the air, and Loba will no longer be slowed after translocating. This is amazing. It's taken them a year to do it, but it's finally here. We're going to have full movement while we are waiting to teleport. This should make it a lot easier to evade and dodge those bullets. And hopefully she's actually going to be viable in like higher competitive leagues like Masters and Pred. Hopefully she will be really good then. I'm going to play her for sure still. I mean, I've mained her since she came out, so obviously I'm going to carry on maining now that she's actually going to be good. But yeah, let me know how you guys are, if you guys are looking forward to this change for low bat. Fixed a lot of bugs that cause bracelet tosses to fail, so not only is it going to be buffed, it's actually going to work, which is obviously a plus. And as a trade-off, the cooldown on her Black Market Boutique is increased from 90 seconds to 120 seconds, which I'm fine with. It's still really, really short and a really, really powerful ultimate. So I'm happy to sacrifice that for a much more powerful Q. Horizon, Gravity Lift, reduced lift speed by 30%, reduced side-to-side acceleration, limited the time you can sit at the top of Gravity Lift to 2 seconds, increased cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds, and Horizon's abilities will now get zapped by Watson's pylons. So they have done just a crap ton to Horizon. She is, I know Horizon mains are not happy with this. I definitely agree she was too powerful before, but they've changed so much. Like, they've changed the speed you go up, how fast you go side to side, so strafing. You can only sit at the top of it for 2 seconds, and it's got a 5-second longer cooldown. So I still think skilled Horizon players will be able to use her well. Just the fact that she can get really high up quite quickly is always going to be a good thing in the right hands. You're just not going to be able to use it as like a panic button, just a free battery. It's not going to be a free shield battery, but it shouldn't be. So we'll have to see how Horizon plays out, but I don't think she's going to be an awful legend. Fuse now has 2 stacks of Knuckle Cluster and reduced cooldown from 25 seconds to 20 seconds. Fuse needs work. This is a good start. He needs more, in my opinion. As they said, more help is coming. They just didn't have time to get everything out, so he's probably going to have like a small reworks and things to his abilities. So Fuse players, hang in there. This is the start of many positive changes coming to Fuse. Bangalore Smoke Launcher thickened Bangalore Smoke. I think in the Chaos Theory event they accidentally made her smoke. Like they reduced the particle effects, so it was easy to see through. They're reverting that now, so it's nice quality of life for Bangalore. Bloodhound no longer receives assists from Eye of the Allfather. Not really a nerf, you just won't get as many assists in ranked. But Bloodhound's still Bloodhound, still going to be a really strong legend. And Crypto's drone can now scan and open care packages, and you can no longer use his drone to hijack a respawn beacon that's already in use. I'll be honest, I literally never play Crypto, but I didn't even know that was a thing. But I guess you can open care packages with him now, which is a nice quality of life for Crypto. Weapon updates then, we've got the new weapon category, Marksman. So the G7 Scout and the 3030 are currently in the Assault Rifle Weapons category. They're a bit strange in that category due to their firing style and some of their handling values. Similarly, the triple tag felt a little out of place in the sniper category. With the introduction of the bocek bow, we felt it was a good time to introduce a new weapons category, Marksman Weapons, which will include the G7, 3030, triple take and bocek. Weapons in this category are precision weapons that are most effective up to medium to long range, and are the sort of in-between of assault rifles and snipers. This allows us to begin moving the settings of these weapons towards more consistent values for the class, and make the settings of ARs and snipers more consistent with less outliers. For starters, we are increasing the movement speed while aiming down sights for marksman weapons. They are at sniper speeds and will now be between sniper and AR speeds. Additionally, we have done some targeted normalization of hipfire spread amounts. So yeah, like 3030 and the G7 were not assault rifles in my opinion, so this is going to be cool. We've got a new class coming, so they're going to have their own strafe speeds, their own hipfire things like that, which fits the types of weapons they are. So that's a good thing for the game. Supply drop rotation. This season we're taking the Peacekeeper out of the supply drop and putting the triple take in its place. Of course, with any supply drop change, these weapons will have their stats updated. See how each weapon changes down below. Just some notes there. The Kraber will spawn less often in the early game, more often in the mid game. And the triple take will be the most common early game crate weapon, with the Prowler being the most prominent late game. So that's interesting. Fully kitted weapon rotation. So the fully kitted weapons this season will be the Wingman, the Bow, the R99, the Hemlock and the Sentinel. And we will no longer have the R301, the 3030, the Mozambique, the Longbow and the Spitfire. just as always, changing that from each season. Hop-ups then, shatter caps. Fire select to toggle between standard mode and shatter mode. In shatter mode, rounds split into a blast pattern on firing. This hop-up will be equipable to the 30-30 repeater and the bocek bow. From what I've seen from gameplay and YouTubers' opinions, the shatter caps is not amazing on the bow. In a lot of situations, you're going to be better off just using the single arrow. You'd need to be really, really close, but it is going to turn into a shotgun. And from what I've heard on the 30-30, it's actually quite useful on the 30-30. Deadeye's tempo, firing at the perfect moment increases fire rate. This can currently be attached to the sentinel and the bocek. So obviously with the bow, you have to kind of draw back the arrow. If you fire just as the arrow becomes drawn back, it will increase your fire rate, and you have to maintain that to keep the fire rate. The second you miss the time window for it, you're going to lose that fire rate bonus. And the same thing with the sentinel. If you fire just after it's rechambered, you'll start to increase the fire rate. And I believe it's a little bit more forgiving with the sentinel, so it should be a little bit easier to get that buff on the sentinel. And to make room, the hammer points and skull piercer hop-ups are being vaulted for now and won't be available. Yeah, we'll have to see how the P20 and the Mozambique are without the hammer points, but I think they have buffed them slightly to compensate. Assault rifles, reducing the headshot multiplier for all assault rifles from 2.0 to 1.75. So assault rifles are just going to do a little bit less damage on headshots. Peacekeeper, it comes with the precision choke by default, which can be toggled off. Pellet damage reduced from 10 to 9. Rechamber time increased from 0.9 to 1.1 seconds. Reload times increased. Regular from 2.45 to 2.5. Empty from 3.35 to 3.5. Pellet spread increased in general, and spread when charged increased for all charge levels. From 0.65, 0.45 and 0.2 to 0.85, 0.65 and 0.35, and quickly loses its charge after leaving ADS. This is just because it was a care package weapon, so they have to nerf it a bit because it's becoming ground loot. And the converse applies to the triple take. Because it's now going in the crate weapon, it needs to be buffed. So as a crate weapon, it will come with a 9 ammo clip and 63 reserve. Fire rate increased from 1.2 to 1.3. Time to full charge reduced from 1.1 to 1 second. Retains charge briefly after leaving ADS. Move speed while aiming down sights has been increased to match with the Marksman Weapons, faster than snipers, slower than ARs. And increased the spread while airborne and aiming down sights. Actually, that's quite a small nerf, but overall the triple take's been buffed due to the fact it's going in the care package. Havoc increased recoil controllability early in the pattern, so that's a small buff to the Havoc. Spitfire reduced recoil controllability early in the pattern. Small nerf to the Spitfire. In my opinion, it needs a lot more than that. The Spitfire meta at the minute is absolutely vile. The Spitfire is really, really strong. So this is a small nerf, but I don't feel like it's going to do anything. So in my opinion, it needs more nerfs. But the other changes, I feel like the weapon meta is still going to be really diverse next season, which is a good thing. 30-30 repeater, increased leg damage multiplier from 0.75 to 0.85, so you're going to do a bit more damage when you hit someone in the leg. Move speed while aiming down sights has been increased to match up the Marksman Weapons, faster than snipers, slower than ARs. So, yeah, I don't see people use the 30-30 a lot, so I guess they're trying to give it a bit of a buff. We'll have to see how this plays out. G7 Scout, move speed while aiming down sights has been increased to match with the Marksman Weapons, faster than snipers, slower than ARs. That applies to obviously all Marksman Weapons. Increased hip fire spread size, reduced accuracy to be more in line with other Marksman Weapons. Just some small changes to the G7 then, nothing major. Longbow, increased headshot multiplier from 2.0 to 2.15, and the same goes for the Wingman. That's just because they're giving it a compensatory buff because the Skull Piercer is gone. So it's not going to do as much headshot damage as a Skull Piercer, but it's going to do more than its current state. Again, Wingman is still going to be a really, really meta weapon, and the Longbow I also think is quite a decent weapon. Similarly, the Mozambique and P20 have been buffed to compensate for the loss of the hammer point rounds. So in the case of the Mozambique, the magazine capacity has been increased from 4 to 6, and they have moved the lower 2 pellets inward in the blast pattern. So even though there's no hammer points, I still think this is going to be a great starter weapon. Obviously, you're going to drop it for other weapons, but especially in arenas, this is not going to be an awful secondary to have. With the P20, increased bullet damage from 15 to 18, but they have actually lowered the fire rate from 8.5 to 6.25. So, yeah. They said most players couldn't take advantage of the fast fire rate, so bringing that down while increasing the damage should help players win more early fights with the P2020. So yeah, they're just trying to make them solid early game weapons. Arc Star's aim and movement slow removed from the initial stick. Oh, so when you first get hit with the Arc Star, even before it's detonated, you won't be slowed in terms of aim and movement anymore. But it should still apply that after the explosion. Some quality of life things. Badges are now sorted by categories and can be filtered by all or unlocks only. When looting death boxes, players can now see health bars for everyone on their team. So if someone on your team gets really low, you can maybe decide to stop looting and go help out. Challenges can now be favorited, and that challenge will be added to a new favourites tab that will appear in the lobby and in the match's map screen. And then we've got some really small stuff, nothing major there I don't think. And we've also got some ring updates, but if you want to read this stuff you can pause, but it's really small stuff, just changing the ring a little bit and then bug fixes as usual. Those are the patch notes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this new season. I might stream some of the new season on Tuesday, May 4th, so stay tuned for that. And with that said, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you do, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.